What is up guys, and welcome back to the channel for what will be the last video that I'm going to do exclusively about the Roland MS-1. I bought this a few weeks ago now and I've been really enjoying using it, but there's only a limited amount of features that are available on this device. And with it being an older device as well, there isn't really a great deal of interest. And the videos that I've already done as well, they've kind of already covered the main features about this, like the sample rates and how to record in, etc. So yeah, there's only really one feature that I want to show you guys that's left on this. And on top of that, I'm just going to kind of do an overview of everything about this device. So that'll be first. Then there's a cropping feature which I want to show you guys, and then I'm going to do a little conclusion. So if you want to stick around and find out whether this is worth purchasing, then you are more than welcome to do so. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button. I'm nearly at 20k subs now. It'd be amazing if I could get to that sooner rather than later. So if you're new around here, please hit that subscribe button. I do videos all about samplers, specifically gear used for lo-fi production, old samplers like this, the SP404 Mark II, loads of stuff like that. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, please hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Okay, so the overall summary of this device. Now, why did I buy this in the first place? Well, to be honest, part of it was to do with the fact that I'm a YouTube channel and it's nice to have fresh things to talk about, so that was one of the main driving forces behind getting this. Then if you wanted to go back and see the story about the original one that I bought, it made for quite a funny story, so I'll leave a link to that in the top right hand corner. But basically, one of these just came up in my local area and I thought, well, this looks kind of cool. It's an old sampler, it's from 1994, and I kind of wanted to mess around with it. And also, another reason why I bought it is because I just kind of like playing with samplers. That's kind of what I do here. So the older the better, in my opinion, as long as it's usable. And this one's in really, really good condition. So this is actually the second one that I ended up buying. The first one I did get a full refund for, and this one's in immaculate condition. There's only a few little tiny scratches on the surface, and to be honest, I think I've probably put those on it. It came with a memory card as well, which is unreal, and I need to figure out how to use that. But like I say, this is definitely going to be the last video about this one. It's still going to feature on the channel, but in terms of doing dedicated videos, this will be the last one. So that's the reason why I bought it. And what are the things that I like about it? Well, it's really lightweight. It's really small and portable. I really, really like that. It can run off batteries, so like I mentioned in a previous video, I think this could be a really good record store runner in terms of slapping this in the bag. If they've got a turntable available at a record store, could just get a few samples in here, sneak them off and make some beats when I get back. I think that's a really good user case for this particular device. As I've mentioned before as well, I really, really like the aesthetic of this device. It's really, really simple. I love the colour scheme, just the accent colours on it, the shape, everything about it. I just really, really like that. The main two things about this, which are the reasons why I love it so much, are you get 4 sample grades, which I've already talked about in other videos. So if you want to go and check out my earlier videos about this device, check out my MS-1 playlist so you can hear what this thing sounds like. But yeah, the pitching grades, there's 4 of those, high all the way down to long 2, and long 2 sounds amazing and obviously saves a lot of space as well because it's not using too much of the internal storage when you're using that particular rate. And then you've got the internal pitching as well, which is a master pitch, and it goes down 20% and up 10 if I remember correctly. So pitching things down 20% with the sample grades, this thing just sounds amazing. It's got a nice little sequencer as well. It's really, really basic. It's basically just a looping device. So there's no metronome, there's no step sequencer or anything like that. You just push in what you want and it records it and loops it. I really, really like it. It's just minimal and it just does the job, so I do really like that. So yeah, basically I don't think there's any more need to do any videos about this. It's a really simple device to learn, so if people are picking it up, the PDF manual is available online, and honestly you can read through it in about 15 minutes. There's really not a lot to this sampler and there's nothing really to show apart from one last feature which I did want to showcase, which I'll do in a minute. As I mentioned, this will still feature on the channel. It's just not going to be exclusively about this device. I'll be using it to process samples, but I think pretty much everything that I wanted to share with you guys about this device I've covered now in videos, and they're available on my channel in the archive. And I think one of the most interesting things about this device is that this was actually the start of the SP series, believe it or not. So obviously SP Vids, as the channel is named at this moment in time, there's a massive focus on SP devices on this channel, and this was actually superseded by the SP202 in 1998. So it started production in 1994, and by 1998 it had been replaced by the SP202, which I also happen to have. So in a way, this was the birth of the SP series. So I think that's kind of weird. I didn't know that at the time of buying it, and then it just turns out that yeah, this does seem to be the precursor to the SP series. So really interesting stuff there as well. And yeah, overall just a great little, very rudimentary little sampler. And that was the whole purpose of it when it came out as well. It was meant to be a affordable and easy to use sampler. So yeah, definitely does the job on that 100%. So what's this cropping feature all about? Well, it's a pretty interesting little feature, and I think it's quite cool for a device that's this old. What you can actually do is, if you have a sample, and hypothetically let's say it's this long, so it's as long as the device, if you choose an endpoint which is further in, so let's say you choose an endpoint which is halfway along the sample, you can then use a feature on this to make the second part that you've cut, so anything after the endpoint, you can chop that and put it onto a new pad. So it's kind of like a really rudimentary chopping device, and obviously it's probably going to be a little bit tedious to do, but I'm going to go ahead and give this a go right now. I've never actually tried this before. The only thing I've looked at is how to do it, and it's really straightforward. So I've got this sample here, and this will be a little bit quiet, so I'm going to crank it in post-production so you guys can hear this. And I'm going to go ahead and mark an endpoint on it. So let's go to Edit Sample, and let's go across, and you can see here we can go to Endpoint, and this has to be done by numbers, which is a little bit tedious, but you can use the wheel as well. So let's see if we can do something with this. Okay, so that sounds about right on the note. I'll just do some little minor adjustments here. I just want to get the tail of that final note. And maybe I'll change this to 800 here. Yeah, that sounds good. So now if I exit out of that, what I need to do is go to Utility, so Edit Utility this is called because it's under the Edit menu. And you can see here I'm already on it, so Divide. So it's saying A1, which is the one I'm editing, and the device is saying that anything after that endpoint that I've set on that particular sample, put that onto A4, so that will put it on this pad. That's exactly what I wanted to do. I'm happy with that. The other three are getting used at the moment. And like everything with this device, you have your yes and no button at the bottom here. You can see hold exit /no and sampling start, stop, record, and yes. So I'm happy that it's going from A1 to A4, and I'm going to press yes. It's really quick to do that as well. That's another thing I love about this device. The processing of it is fast. So now if I press 4, so that isn't perfect, but obviously I can edit this sample and edit the start point if I wanted to. So maybe if I have a little go at this. There we go, I've pretty much got the start point there. So a little bit fiddly because you're only using the numbers, you don't get to see the visual waveform, but you can see there I've managed to chop the end of that sample and put it on a new pad, finally tune it, and I've got a new chop. So that's just another really nice little feature which I thought I'd show you guys about this device. So, conclusion about this device, what are my overall thoughts? Would I recommend the purchase of it? I think if one of these pops up near you and you can afford it, I would definitely recommend getting one just to have a play with, even if you just held on to it for a few months and moved it on, just because of all the reasons I've already mentioned, the design, the pitching, the sample grades, and it's just quite fun to use. It's quite fast at processing stuff, and if you're anything like me and you like messing around with old samplers and stuff like this, I'd definitely say this is a win, because you can pick these up for about £100, about $120, that kind of area, so it's not going to break the bank. And yeah, I genuinely think you could probably move it on for the same price that you bought it if you looked after it and if you got bored of it. I think there will be another couple of videos including this. I want to compare it to the SP202, that's one thing, but in terms of videos exclusively about the features of the Roland MS-1, this is going to be the final one. So I just want to say thanks for the support recently, guys, because your support is the reason why I end up buying things like this, and it's part of the reason why I can buy things like this as well. So if you do want to go that extra step, check out all the links in the description below. I've got lo-fi drum packs, I've got t-shirts, you can become a member, and I've got other ways that you can support me coming up in the near future, which will also benefit you as well, so stay tuned for those updates. Thanks very much for watching this one. I will say, if there's any final requests for this, please let me know in the comments below if there's something you really want to see about this device, and if I think that's worth a video, maybe I'll come back and do another dedicated video about this device. But I think I've covered all the key features, and I think there's quite a lot of useful information about this on my channel now. So keep making beats, guys. I'll be back with more content very soon. Peace!